Go to overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk/online therapy to get 20% off your first month of cognitive behavioural therapy, with weekly sessions online with a therapist, in addition to worksheets, a journal, meditation and yoga videos, and unlimited messaging. There's strong evidence that CBT can help people who hoard, and accessing therapy online can be affordable and accessible. Find out more and get your discount at overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk/online therapy.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, how to get 30, how to get 20, 20, 20, how to get 20, 20, how to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hiring for your small business? If you're not looking for professionals on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. That's like looking for your car keys in a fish tank. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't even visit other leading job sites. So start looking in the right place. With LinkedIn, you can hire professionals like a professional. Post your free job on linkedin.com/spoken today.
Since 2013, Bombas has donated over 100 million socks, underwear, and T-shirts to those facing homelessness. If we counted those on air, this ad would last over 1,157 days. But if we counted the time it takes to make a donation possible, it would take just a few clicks. Because every time you make a purchase, Bombas donates an item to someone who needs it.
Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/ACAST, code ACAST.
Welcome to the Overcome Compulsive Hoarding with That Hoarder podcast. I am drowning in stuff and trying to find a way out. Listen as I explore the issues and delve deep as somebody profoundly affected by hoarding disorder. Find out more, including links to subscribe to the podcast, at overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk, and follow me on Twitter at That Hoarder and on Facebook at facebook.com/That Hoarder. So as I mentioned in a previous episode, I have been having CBT to treat compulsive hoarding, and I'm finding it a mixed experience. Initially, I had 6 sessions that just felt pointless. It seemed like the therapy was very geared towards people with anxiety and depression and not much else. So every issue that came up with relation to hoarding was treated as an anxiety or depression issue. What is it they say when the only tool you've got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail? It was very much like that. But at the end of that 6-session period, I was offered the opportunity to be referred on to somebody for a more in-depth CBT. And that seemed like the sensible thing to do. I was sceptical because the initial sessions had been relatively useless, but equally I had no other options. There aren't exactly hoarding treatments readily available. So I agreed to be referred on for this more in-depth CBT, and there was a bit of a wait of a few months, but that was okay. And I'm now partway through doing that, and it's certainly a lot more helpful than the initial period was. It's going more in-depth, and it feels like it's targeted towards the actual issues I'm facing, rather than being targeted towards anxiety and depression, and never mind if that's not the problem you're facing. So each week we're doing it via video link, as is everybody at the moment, and each week we start off by looking at putting things on an agenda, and usually only 2 or 3 things, and then we go quite into detail about what's worked and what hasn't. Looking at where the things that are tripping me up and why and what can be done about those things. And it's all obviously, as the name CBT, Cognitive Behavioural Therapy, suggests, it's about your thinking and your thoughts and challenging those thoughts and trying to replace negative or counterproductive thoughts with more useful, positive ones. So if I'm having trouble throwing away a particular item, we would look at the thoughts in my head that are preventing me from throwing that away and whether they are rational or irrational, and how we can challenge those thoughts and replace them with a thought that is more conducive to achieving my goals. One aspect of it that I'm finding really useful is that at the end of each appointment, we set, I guess, a target or a goal for the following week. But the way it's presented is that we do it as an experiment. Well, I do it as an experiment. So it's not that I suddenly have a new rule. It's that I'm testing something out. And that feels far better to me. It doesn't feel like I'm having to commit to something. It doesn't feel like I'm saying this is how things have to be done from now on. It's that I'm saying, let's see how this goes. Let's see what works and what doesn't. And then in the following appointment, we go through what works and what doesn't. And from there, build an idea for another experiment the following week. So I know there's a lot of criticism about CBT for a lot of very legitimate reasons. It's overused, it's applied in situations where it perhaps shouldn't be, and people see it as a sticking plaster for any eventuality. If anything at all goes wrong, there's probably a CBT therapist who says they can treat it. Another criticism of it is that it's quite surface level and it doesn't look at the underlying issues, and as a result of that the theory is that you can't have long-lasting serious results because you're putting a sticking plaster over a gaping wound. My experience is that during the initial 6-week process that was rubbish, that was true. But actually, as I go more in depth now, we are looking at some of the underlying issues, very much in a cognitive behavioural approach. We're looking at them in terms of what the thought patterns are, whether they fit into what they call a formulation, which is the theory we've come up with about my thought patterns, my problematic thought patterns, and then looking at the current problem based on the formulation of my ongoing problems. We work on that. And so there is acknowledgement of where problems come from. There is a space to look at the underlying issues, but it's within a very specific context. I don't know if CBT is the thing that is going to fix me, but I don't know what the thing would be that could fix me at this stage. What I will say is that for now, it's the thing available to me, and it is useful, and it is supportive, and it is practical and solutions based, and that's what I really need, and it's the only option I've currently got. So that's my experience of having CBT for hoarding disorder, or for compulsive hoarding, whatever you want to call it. Mixed, but essentially quite helpful if you have the more in-depth version. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the Overcome Compulsive Hoarding podcast. You can find more online at overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk. You can find me on Twitter at @thathoarder and on Facebook at Overcome Compulsive Hoarding with That Hoarder. To find out more about how you can support this podcast and the overall project, go Go to overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk/support and do subscribe to this podcast so you make sure you don't miss any future episodes.
If there's one thing that my family and friends know me for, it's being an amazing gift giver. I owe it all to Celebrations Passport from 1-800-Flowers.com, my one-stop shopping site that has amazing gifts for every occasion. With Celebrations Passport, I get free shipping on thousands of amazing gifts. And the more gifts I give, the more perks and rewards I earn. To learn more and take your gift giving to the next level, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.